Hello children. Now we will start next chapter, that is chapter 6 of your book, Combustion and Flame. In the introduction of this chapter, you must have seen various fuels, various substances around you which burn and produce heat and light energy. For example, LPG, liquefied petroleum gas. The LPG cylinders are commonly available in our homes, in our houses. The LPG supply is very common in our country. That LPG is basically a fuel. It's a gas which burns and gives us heat and light energy. Likewise, whenever you drive through a car or a bike, petrol or diesel is used. That is also fuel. Likewise, nowadays, CNG is quite a revolutionary fuel. It is very emphasized that we must have to shift ourselves towards the electric cars or the CNG cars. CNG stands for compressed natural gas. All those are fuels, but if you ever go to a village, in the villages, cow dung cakes, the small wooden twigs, those are used to burn and to produce heat and light energy. All these are considered as fuels, bache. And in this chapter, we are going to study about these fuels. That whether the substances catches fire easily or not, whether the substances burn or not. So, first we'll discuss combustion. If you hold a magnesium ribbon in your right hand, and place it over a flame in a laboratory, you observe that this magnesium ribbon, magnesium is a metal, but it catches fire very easily. This magnesium ribbon burns and produces a white dazzling light. ये बर्न होना शुरू हो जाएगा बच्चे, और एक white dazzling light produce होगी, एक सफेद चकाचौंध कर देने वाली रोशनी. Along with that, it forms a white powder that is known as magnesium oxide. So when magnesium burns, that means burning means react with oxygen. Burning or combustion is not possible without oxygen, bache. So when magnesium burns, it reacts with oxygen of air. That oxygen comes from air, bache, atmosphere, and forms a compound magnesium oxide. It's a white color powder. Along with that, it releases heat and light. These are two forms of energy, bache. Likewise, if you have seen charcoal when burned, it also produces heat and light energy. Along with it, it produces two substances, bache, carbon dioxide and water vapors. So that's what the burning is. When they burn, they gives us light and heat energy. So from here, we conclude the definition of combustion, that a chemical process in which a substance in the presence or reacts burns in the presence of oxygen of air to give heat and light energy. Light energy may or may not be produced. That you can write in the definition or you can leave it. This epithet you can write or not, beta. That is your choice. Basically, a substance which burns to produce heat and light energy is usually referred as a combustible substance. And the process in which a substance burns in the presence of oxygen or burns with oxygen to form heat and light energy is known as combustion. This process is known as combustion. In Hindi, किसी भी चीज का जलना और जलकर लाइट और हीट एनर्जी छोड़ देना बच्चे क्या कहलाता है? कंबशन कहलाता है. So what is combustion? It is a chemical process in which a substance burns or reacts with oxygen present in the atmosphere or air to give heat and light energy. That process is known as combustion. Next, bache, on the basis of whether these substances or whether substances react with oxygen or not, the substances are classified into two forms. First, combustible substances, and other one, non-combustible substances. First, we'll discuss combustible substances. as its name indicates, which they refer to combustion, beta, burning. The substances which burns, which undergoes combustion, which reacts with oxygen of air very easily to form heat and light energy, to produce heat and light energy, is known as or are known as combustible substances. Combustible substances क्या है बच्चे? वो substance है which undergoes combustion. What is combustion now? The substances which react with oxygen of air very easily are known as combustible substances. And as a product of combustion, when combustible substances burns, they produce heat and light energy. Light energy may or may not produce. It is not essential that light energy will be produced in combustion. So that you may write or not, that is your choice. So what are combustible substances? The substances that burn easily in air or oxygen to produce heat and light energy are called combustible substances. There are multiple combustible substances available to us, bache, like CNG, compressed natural gas, LPG, liquefied petroleum gas, diesel, petrol, wooden stick, paper, cloths. These are combustible substances, bache. Kerosene oil, these are combustible substances. They burn and release heat and light energy. Charcoal, coal, these are combustible substances. They can easily catch fire, bache. So the substances which burn very easily, they react with oxygen of air very easily and produce heat and light energy are known as combustible substances. And the antagonistic to them and the exact opposite to them are non-combustible. The substances that do not burn with oxygen, that do not react with oxygen of air to produce heat and light energy are known as non-combustible substances. वो substances बचे जो oxygen of air से react नहीं करते और कोई heat और light energy produce नहीं होती, those are referred as non-combustible substances. The example is stone, steel spoon, iron. They are non-combustible, बच्चे. Glass, concrete, wooden bricks, soil, they are non-combustible. They do not catch fire easily. So these are combustible and non-combustible substances, बच्चे. Now we will discuss an activity, whether or how to differentiate a substance is whether combustible or not. It's a non-combustible or a combustible substance. For this activity, बच्चे, we have to choose certain things, बच्चे. Like we require a candle to burn something, matchstick to burn candle itself. We require a pair of tongs. What are tongs, beta? It's a device which is used to hold something. It usually find like this. It is this like scissor-like structure by the help of which we use to hold something. These are a pair of tongs, bache, so that we can hold the material which are going to be tested, that whether it is combustible or not. That is, whether it is produce heat or light energy in the presence of oxygen or not. Then we took some substances which we want to check. You can choose any. For example, this activity includes these: a cloth piece, an iron nail, a wooden stick, a glass, dry leaves, a stone, a paper, and a steel spoon. In the method, we have to do this very simple thing, bache. We have to take that material by the pair of tongs and place that material over a burning candle. For example, this is the material A. We have to place it over burning candle, beta, like this. If it burns, if it starts to burn and produce heat and light energy, it is combustible. Otherwise, it is non-combustible. अगर वो जलने लगेगा बच्चे और हीट और लाइट एनर्जी देगा तो combustible है, अगर नहीं तो वो combustible नहीं है. So first thing, cloth. If you bring that cloth, you can perform this activity at home, but do take every precaution whatsoever required for this. The cloth will start to burn. So cloth is a combustible substance that we have discussed in our example as well, bache. Cloth is a combustible substance. It burns to produce heat and light energy. The second one is an iron nail. लोहे की कील, बच्चे. You'll place that on a candle, even the LPG stove, you'll observe that it does not burn to give heat and light energy. So it is non-combustible. It does not burn, beta. It does not react with oxygen to form heat and light energy. So it is a non-combustible substance. The third one is wooden stick, wood. Wood catches fire after some time, but it catches fire. It burns to produce heat and light energy. So it is combustible substance. Wood बच्चे थोड़ी देर में ही सही पर जलने लगेगी. So it is combustible substance बच्चे. The next one, the fourth one is glass material. As we had discussed in the example as well, बच्चे, glass does not burn, so it is non-combustible substance बच्चे. It do not burn to produce heat and light energy. The fifth one is dry leaves. Dry leaves also burn very easily. You know, in the villages, even in the government forests, forest officers gather people to collect those leaves and allow them to take that. जो लोग ट्राइब्स में रहते हैं, जो लोग फॉरेस्ट के आसपास रहते हैं, फॉरेस्ट ऑफिसर बोलते हैं कि ये लीव्स ले जाओ और ड्राई लीव्स को बर्न कर सकते हैं आप. Although they produce harmful gases, but still they are combustible बच्चे. They can undergo combustion बच्चे. Next is paper. As you all are aware बच्चे, paper is combustible substance. It burns very easily. If you bring a piece of paper near a candle, it catches fire very easily. और फायर को बच्चे बड़ी आसानी से कैच कर लेगा. So it is combustible. After the paper, steel spoon. Steel spoon does not catch fire. It does not burn. It is a non-combustible substance, बच्चे. So steel spoon does not catch fire, बच्चे. So it is non-combustible substance. It does not give heat and light energy. So the conclusion is cloth, wooden stick, dry leaves, paper, these are combustible, and iron nail, glass material, and steel spoon, these are non-combustible substances. Now we will discuss the types of combustion. On the various kind of conditions, the combustible substances undergoes various kind of combustion. Their process of burning is different. So on this basis, we'll differentiate into three kind of combustion. The first one is rapid combustion. Rapid means quickly. तेजी से बचे. Rapidly. When a combustible substance burns at a rapid rate, producing a large amount of heat and light energy, that kind of combustion is known as rapid combustion. जैसे ही बच्चे उसे हल्का सा कोई हीट मिला, हल्की सी उसे फ्लेम मिली, that will catches fire very very easily. For example, LPG, that will catch fire. LPG cylinders, burst accidentally if flame brings near to them. That's why it is suggested that after the use of LPG stove, turn off the main knob from the cylinder. Why is it so? Because LPG is highly flammable, beta. It undergoes rapid combustion, and that may lead to severe accidents. Burning of petrol, burning of diesels. That's why you have seen the signs near the at the petrol pumps that do not burn a matchstick or do not lit a cigarette here or nearby the petrol pumps or the diesel pumps. Why is it so? Because they undergoes rapid combustion. They catches that fire, they catches that flame very easily, and it starts to burn. So the substances, the combustible substances which undergoes burning very quickly at a very rapid rate to produce heat and light energy, those are referred as rapid combustion. That type of combustion is referred as rapid combustion. Next, bache, spontaneous combustion. One more thing, bache, here it must be rapid, bache, I think. So it's a rapid combustion, bache. These are the examples of rapid combustion, not spontaneous. The second one is spontaneous combustion. Spontaneous means immediately. When a substance burns on its own without the requirement of any external heat. What is the difference basic between this and this? But in this we must have to provide certain external heat. We must have to bring near a flame. We must have to bring near certain heat. Whereas in spontaneous combustion, no external heat is required. A substance burns on its own by its own body temperature, on its own surface temperature. That kind of combustion is known as spontaneous combustion. In rapid combustion, we have to give them heat, bache. Whereas in spontaneous combustion, the combustible substances do not require any external heat. They burn on its own. वो खुद ब खुद जलने लगते हैं. That type of combustion is known as spontaneous combustion. The example is burning of white phosphorus. Phosphorus is a non-metal. It is the only non-metal which catches fire very easily, bache, very abruptly. At the room temperature even, white phosphorus catches fire, beta. Room temperature पे रखो white phosphorus को, वो अपने आप जलने लगेगा. That is the particular reason to protect the white phosphorus from spontaneous combustion, from its own combustion. We protect it, we keep it under the water, or we keep it under the oil. हम बच्चे white phosphorus को open air में नहीं रखते because it catches fire on its own. So that's why it is stored under water. Next is explosive combustion. You must have aware of it, bache. Explosive means explosion, dhamaka, sound. The type of combustion in which whensoever a combustible substance burns, whensoever a combustible substance undergoes the reaction with air, it produces heat, light. That is usual. That produced in the rapid combustion as well as in the spontaneous combustion. But along with the heat and light, it produces sound energy. That kind of combustion is known as explosive combustion. And the example is combustion of firecrackers. Burning of firecrackers. Firecrackers burn to produce heat energy, to produce a bit of light energy as well as sound energy. So these are the three kind of combustion, bache, on the various conditions. First one was rapid combustion. These are the example of rapid. Actually, in the initial phases, it was written here incorrect. Rapid combustion is the type of combustion in which a combustible substance burns to produce heat and light energy very rapidly, very quickly. For example, burning of LPG, burning of petrol, diesel, wax, they burn at a very rapid rate. Second one was spontaneous combustion, the type of combustion, the form of combustion in which a combustible substance undergoes burning without the requirement of any external heat. The substance burns on its own is known as spontaneous combustion. Example is burning of white phosphorus, forest fires, burning in coal mines. They catches the fire on its own, beta. We do not require any flame for that. We do not require any burning matchstick for that, burning candle for that. So that's why that is known as spontaneous combustion. And the last one is explosive combustion. The form of combustion, the type of combustion in which a combustible substance burns to produce heat, light, and along with that, sound energy. That type of combustion is known as explosive combustion. The example of explosive combustion is burning of firecrackers. Next, and a very important topic to be discussed is conditions necessary for combustion. We will study, bache, that for combustion of any substance, for combustion of any combustible substance, obviously, we require three conditions. The first is the presence of combustible substance itself. Obviously, bache, if the substance is non-combustible, whatsoever you do, that substance does not catches fire. So first thing required for a combustion is a combustible substance, beta, which can catch, which has the capacity to catch fire, which can burn and produce heat and light energy. Second is the presence of supporter of combustion, that is oxygen gas or air. In the absence of oxygen or air, usually combustion does not take place much. So for burning, that burning of combustible substance, we require its supporter, which supports its combustion, like oxygen gas. The third one is the attainment of ignition temperature of the combustible substance. What do you mean by ignition temperature? The temperature at which a substance catches fire is known as ignition temperature. हर सब्सटेंस को एक मिनिमम टेम्परेचर चाहिए बच्चे, जिस टेम्परेचर पर वो सब्सटेंस एक फायर कैच करेगा, दैट इज नोन एज इग्निशन टेम्परेचर. Every combustible substance must have to attain that temperature, otherwise it does not burn. अगर एक सब्सटेंस का बच्चे टेम्परेचर अटेन नहीं हुआ ना, वो टेम्परेचर तक नहीं पहुंचा, तो वो बर्निंग स्टार्ट नहीं करेगा. So attainment of ignition temperature is must. If a substance does not attain that temperature, does not get that temperature, that substance will not burn. So these three things will also makes a fire triangle. That is referred as a fire triangle, which says O2, oxygen, one arm is, the second one is combustible substance, and the third one is ignition temperature. If all these three were present or will be present, only then a substance will catch fire. Otherwise, that substance does not undergo combustion. So that's why it is referred as a fire triangle. If any arm is missing from that substance doesn't undergo burning or combustion.